The man accused of driving a truck containing 54 undocumented immigrants, recently apprehended in San Antonio, heads back to court.
He is going to be appearing this morning in federal court, possibly for a bond hearing.
4 proposed changes to Alamo Plaza are likely to stir the most debate at local meetings this week.
For probably some 30-plus years, there have been grumblings that the Alamo, as a historic site, is not treated with reverence.
And 5 die after an SUV carrying undocumented immigrants crashes during a chase 120 miles southwest of San Antonio. I'm Chance Dorland with your Express Briefing for Monday, June 18th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. Today, the man accused of driving a truck containing 54 undocumented immigrants recently apprehended in San Antonio will be back in court. San Antonio Express News courts reporter Elizabeth Zavala says the man police say is responsible could face up to 10 years in prison.
We had a situation in North San Antonio last week where federal officials shut down a human smuggling effort that involved 54 undocumented immigrants who were found inside the air-conditioned tractor trailer that was parked in an alleyway kind of close to a neighborhood on the north side of San Antonio. They arrested Gerardo Javier Carrion, who's 36 years old, from Laredo, and authorities are alleging that he was the person who drove the rig, and he has been formally charged with federal human smuggling violations. And what we've been able to find out about him is that he owns this truck and a trucking company of which he is the only driver. He does have a lengthy criminal record, but no one really knows how exactly this happened or how he came to be driving a rig that had all of these people in the back of it.
Hear my full conversation with Elizabeth Zavala on today's episode of The Docket, our weekly podcast covering law and crime in San Antonio, available for free download at expressnews.com/podcasts. Proposed changes to Alamo Plaza, a topic that draws excitement, objections, and strong passions in San Antonio, are the subject of 4 local meetings this week to gather input before the City Council decides on a plan for the historic mission and battle site. The meetings are just a sampling of many more to be held before the Council will likely take action in the fall, with those in attendance this week seeing a presentation on a draft site plan for the plaza and surrounding area, followed by an opportunity to ask questions or provide comments with note cards or texting technology. San Antonio Express News staff writer Scott Huddleston says the 4 major points of contention are limiting access, closing streets, raising buildings, and the most controversial, relocating the cenotaph. I spoke with Huddleston on the latest episode of the In-Depth podcast, available for free download at expressnews.com/podcasts.
Now what we have on the table is a public-private project led by the City of San Antonio, the Texas General Land Office, which now is the custodian of the state-owned Alamo complex, and a private endowment, the Alamo Endowment, which would privately raise $200 million plus, possibly, to contribute to what the state and the city are already providing in terms of funding for this project. It would include a museum, repairs to the historic structures that remain there from the Mission era. That's the church and the Long Barrack. And there are other elements that are more controversial in terms of how the plaza would be treated, including closing the streets to traffic and moving what we call the Alamo Cenotaph, which is a 1930s monument to the defenders who died there.
This week's 6:30 p.m. Alamo Draft Site Plan meetings take place today through Thursday at multiple locations throughout the city. Find a full listing and more info at expressnews.com. And Sunday, an attempt by border agents to pull over an SUV, reportedly carrying a dozen undocumented immigrants, resulted in a high-speed chase and crash in southwest Texas that killed 5 people. Dimmitt County Sheriff Marion Boyd Jr. says 14 people were in the vehicle, including the driver and a passenger, whom they suspect of being U.S. citizens, and that the chase reached speeds of 100 miles per hour during the approximately 10-mile pursuit east on Texas 85 that ended in Big Wells, about 120 miles southwest of San Antonio. The Border Patrol reports an agent saw 3 vehicles moving in tandem around noon that were suspected of being involved in smuggling. 2 of those vehicles were stopped and multiple arrests were made. But the 3rd vehicle took off, and a county deputy joined agents in pursuit, with the crash occurring when the SUV drove off the pavement in an attempt to pass another vehicle, and its driver lost control. And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Monday, June 18th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.